Welcome back to Couple Movie Watchers. I want to chop it up with everybody today and talk about Dune Part 2 and the top 10 movies of the weekend. So let's jump right into it. We're not going to waste any time and go from 10 to 1. I want to start off with the number one movie of the weekend. That's the reason I'm primarily doing this video, and that's Dune Part 2. Now, Dune Part 2 opened up with a whopping 178 million globally. Now, 97 million was from international box office. It's playing in 71 overseas market. That does not include China and Japan. Keep that in mind. China is a really big market. And it was the number one movie in 67 out of those 71 market. Dune is doing amazing, not only here in the US, but overseas as well. The film is tracked 76% ahead of Dune Part 1, which is amazing. But keep in mind, Dune Part 1, it opened during the pandemic and it had the day and date release on HBO Max, or just Max Now, which is a horrible name. They should have kept the HBO name, but it's whatever. It is Max Now. Considering everything, Dune 2 is doing amazing. Have you seen it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Did you like it, love it, hate it? Was it better than Part 1? What's your overall thoughts in general? And the movie's doing really good in IMAX. Now, this movie was actually shot on IMAX digital cameras, and 32.2 million globally came from the IMAX screen. So IMAX is really holding it down when it comes to Dune. Now, let's talk about the domestic box office. It made $81.5 million. Let's see if the movie has legs. Like, is it just the fans that came out to see it opening weekend? We're going to learn a lot next weekend when the film has its second weekend domestic box office. So let's see how it does. But from all accounts, everybody says it's amazing. Everybody loves the film. I can't wait to see it. So let's jump into the rest of the top 10. Coming in at number 2 is the Bob Marley film, which is doing really good. It made $7 million this weekend, grossing $82 million domestically. So it's still holding strong. This movie looks like it's definitely going to cross the 100 million mark domestically within the next 2 to 3 weeks. You got the movie Ordinary Angels, which which made about $3.8 million this weekend, which is only a dip of about 37% from the previous weekend. In total, it made about $12 million. Now, this is another movie that I find very fascinating. A lot of people hate this movie. A lot of people are talking a lot of. To be honest, when I seen the trailer for this movie, I was like, this movie looks like a CW superhero movie. I had no idea it was an actual movie until someone said, no, this is not a TV show, it's a movie. And that's Madam Web. Madam Web is still in the top 5 movies of the weekend, which is amazing to me, right? Like, a movie that's pretty much universally panned by most accounts. It made $3.2 million this weekend for a grand total of $40 million domestically, right? People are saying, oh, it's a flop, it's a flop. I don't think so, and this is the reason why I don't think it's a flop. The movie didn't really cost a lot of money to make. It's a character that no one really knows or cared about except really hardcore Spider-Man fans. And the previews looked horrible, and people just didn't like it. Most people didn't like it, right? It does have a couple of people who thought it was okay. I don't know none of them, but they don't have a 0. So someone out there liked this movie. But let's break down the numbers a little bit further. When you look at Madam Web, it made 91 million worldwide, which is amazing for a movie that's universally panned, that really, by all accounts, sucks. And actually, if you've seen this movie, let us know in the comments, was it worth watching? Was it good? Was it bad? Because people are out there watching this movie. I'm not going to watch it. Maybe when it comes to streaming and I'm just that bored and curious. I didn't even waste my time with Morbius. I was on the plane. I watched the first 5-10 minutes. I said, I'm good. I could do better things, and that's sleep. And that's one of the things I did instead of watching Morbius on the plane. Madam Web, kind of in that same vein. Some people say it's good. Some people say it's worse than Morbius. But for me, for this movie to make 91 million worldwide, I consider it a success. Let's look at a movie like Godzilla Minus One. I feel was one of the best movies that came out last year. Amazing movie. One of the best Godzilla movies ever. Most people who saw this movie, by all accounts, loved it, right? This movie made $106 million worldwide. So Madam Web is only trailing it really by less than 15 million, right? And it still has a couple of weeks to still play. So you got a movie that's, by most accounts, universally loved versus a movie that's universally hated, doing almost on par, right? People say, oh, Madam Web's a superhero movie. Yeah, but in name only, right? This is just such a off-brand superhero movie that you can't compare it to like the Marvels, which actually flop, right? You can't compare it to like a Iron Man, a Spider-Man. This is more like a Morbius. This is such an off-brand superhero movie, I would literally compare it to a movie like Fantastic Four that came on VHS, not the ones that came out on the movie theaters. It's just oh, actually, you know what? It's a better example. Shaquille O'Neal Steel. I will put it in that vein. Madam Web is like a Steel, like with Shaquille O'Neal, but people actually came to actually watch this movie, which is insane to me. It blows my mind. But anyway, let's move on to the number 5. This is not actually a movie; it's a TV show. Chosen season 4, episodes 7 and 8. Now, I really like the Chosen film TV show. I can't wait to watch it. Very good storytelling. If you're into it, even if you're not, just from a story perspective, they're typically really well made. It made about $3.1 million at the box office this weekend, which is an interesting way to really release films, I think. Next up is Migration at number 6, making about $2.5 million at the box office this weekend, which is only a dip of about 12.9%, and it made $123 million at the domestic box office. Now, this is the film. It's not. This is actually another TV show, right? So actually, these TV shows are actually doing really good at the box office, and I can see theaters starting to kind of change their habits instead of just being movies, adding these TV shows that have somewhat of a cult following to their distribution, right? Especially something like Demon Slayer. Me and a girl, we love Demon Slayer. We're seeing her with her friends. Yes, it starts off with I think the last 2 episodes of the previous season, but it hits harder when you actually go to the movie theater and watch it. And the new episodes in the new season was amazing. Like, it gives you the feels. I'm super excited about what's gonna happen. I can't wait to see the new season of Demon Slayer. This weekend it made about $2 million, which is a drop about 82%. In total, it made about 15 million at the domestic box office. So very good for Demon Slayer. If you're a Demon Slayer fan, anime fan, let me know in the comments. I love Demon Slayer. Even if you're not an anime fan, I would definitely give this show a watch. You can pretty much find it on, I think, Netflix, Crunchyroll. If you're trying to get into anime, you're not quite sure, check it out. Next up is Wonka, coming in at number 8. Now, Wonka made $1.7 million with a grand total of $216 million at the domestic box office. Man, that guy, the Dune guy, he got 2 movies in the top 10, and Wonka's been out for a very long time. Can't wait to watch it on streaming. I didn't go to the movies and watch it, but hey, it's all good. But I heard good things about it. I'm not a musical fan. When I found out it was a musical, I had to take a step back. Next up, we have Argyle. It looks interesting, but didn't do too good at the box office, but it looks interesting. This weekend it made about 1.4 billion at the box office. Next up, this is a movie that a lot of people I heard really enjoy. It's a movie that I need to check out, and that is The Beekeeper, wrapping up our top 10 movies of the weekend. The Beekeeper made about $1.1 million at the box office for a grand total of $64 million at the domestic box office. So, Jason Statham, he knows how to make those B movies, no pun intended, and people are checking them out. The Transporter series and everything else. So this guy, he's there. Like I didn't think the previews looked okay. But from all accounts, this movie is a really dope action film. I might even see it at the theater still. I've been meaning to watch it, but there were so many things I was watching instead, like American Fiction. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the top 10 movies of the weekend. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you see this weekend. And that's it. Have a good one. Until next time, everybody. Peace.